What's up, everybody? It's Nick Powles, publisher of 1851franchise.com, here with this month's Coffee and Analytics. And actually, I am drinking coffee. I said in the note that came out, and thank you to everybody that registered, you can grab a beer. And certainly, you're in the comfort of your own home. You can do whatever you want, or in the comfort of your office. So don't listen to me on what you drink. But today I am drinking coffee. So cheers. Okay, so as always, if you'd like to participate, use the commenting feature wherever you're watching this live from, if you are watching this live, and I'll be sure to answer all of your questions or comments as long as they're nice. And per every other Coffee and Analytics that we've done, it's all built on gaining insights and providing you those insights. So hopefully we can impact your franchise development efforts. If you don't get the notes, which clients get the note that accompanies this, you can always find it on 1851franchise.com after I film this. And obviously I break through various channels or portions of what the note is. So let's get at it. So I start off this month by saying I found a new secret that I'm excited to share with you. However, this is going to be a little bit harder to solve for, rather a harder one to solve for, because it is a different type of content distribution that we're going to get into. So this month, as I always do, I looked at our franchise survey results to find an insight and found one that was more prevalent this month than before, and that's YouTube. And so we're airing this live on YouTube, obviously building content on YouTube. It's airing currently StreamYard, which is the tool that we use to do this, on my personal Facebook page, on our 1851 Facebook page, on my personal LinkedIn, and our YouTube channel. And so we're using these channels to create distribution. I'm going to break through some of the secrets on how we get to actually winning and creating some sort of return on value of time that I use to share this, but that's the insight. It starts off with YouTube. So when looking at where people gain their research, which I'm constantly looking at, maybe not in as much detail as I did this month, I noticed that there's this new consistency from the voices of franchise owners, which for those of you that are catching up, we started at the beginning of 22. I always get the years wrong. In 2022, January, we took all these franchisees that we do PR for. We said, okay, we interviewed them about their story. We're very big on brands, don't sell brands, people do. What would happen if we took this opportunity where we're already talking to them with our voices over video? What if we took this as an opportunity to talk to them about the buyer journey so that we can gain some insights, which is where still today, 6.4 months, is the amount of time it's taking from impression to inquiry on average across all the brands. And so that was an insight we were able to pull out so that we could at least help on the client side coach and say, hey, I know we spent money on advertising this month, but you got to understand we're building up your funnel versus we got no leads this month. What's going on? Now, it's not perfect. We still have to do some coaching with our clients on how some of this stuff works, but it gave us that insight. So when I'm looking at this research tab or all across all of our questions, I'm looking for all of these insights to try to gain some sort of knowledge that I can provide back to you. So the question is, when you're doing your homework, you're doing your research, you're becoming comfortable now that you've seen this impression, what does that process look like? And I will say one of the answers is self-serving. Some of them are saying 1851. But they usually say, we use a website, we use 1851, we use Facebook, we use LinkedIn. Those are pretty much standards. This time I saw a lot of YouTube, and roughly 30% referenced it in the last month. So 30% of the franchisees we spoke with over the course of the last month said as a part of their research, they used YouTube. I said, I mean, we've been big on, obviously we create PR opportunities. And when we film our other podcasts like Meet the Zor, Meet the Z, or Meet the Supplier, we post it on YouTube. But are our clients building content and storytelling on YouTube, now knowing that it's a part of the research tools that a franchisee is using as part of their research? And widely, the answer is no. So very simplistically, before I continue to go into this, you can go register for StreamYard. Obviously, we've put our great designer page, did awesome work at building a creative package around this so that I'm able to do all these bells and whistles. And if you can see my navigation screen, I can change anything on the screen. I could go like that and change our lower thirds. So it's a really, really cool tool. But what it does is it packages a video. So it's really well packaged so that we don't have to go and do editing beyond this. Lifesaver during COVID, because we had, if any of you had been there, we had a studio room in our office, our big fancy office with a very expensive lease, where we were filming videos, but not only filming the video, saving it to the computer, putting it into editing, adding these bells and whistles, uploading it onto YouTube or whatever channel we were putting it on. So call it somewhere in the range of 8 hours collectively to produce a video. Now, this is going to be 30 minutes. It's going to be live online. We might go clean up some of the SEO afterwards, but it's quite simple. So you're a franchisor. You could go sign up for StreamYard and you can start filming these. And you could say, let me just start working through my franchisees. Let me work through my corporate staff. You lend personality back to your brand. Brands don't sell brands, people do. Now all of a sudden you're building a toolkit. So when I'm reading through this discovery and it says, hey, I've used YouTube to become familiar with this, then it's like, okay, are we taking this insight and are we doing something with it and trying to get in front of more prospective franchisees who are both in the funnel and at the entry stage of the funnel to give them what they're telling us. 30% of them are telling us that they use to get comfortable with the idea of buying that brand. So what I did next in my notes, and I'm going to read you these steps, I tried building this out into a formula so that you guys have a playbook to use beyond this. I could obviously talk about any topic for quite some time. I like to talk. But if I can give you true takeaways, I think you'll find more value out of our conversation. So what does this mean? 1, it's time to build up your YouTube channel. I picked 4 random client brands and searched for insert brand YouTube channel and found nothing. And all I did is pick 4 random. I wasn't conscious on this. So what's interesting is that we've been conditioned to put our energy towards Facebook and LinkedIn. And both of those have this thing called zero reach, which I've explained this to many people. But in the most basic sense, we'll use Facebook. Genius company, built up all this energy. They made you put their logo on your window. You went and got fans. You built up these fans of your page. They are worthless. They do nothing for you unless you're going to spend money with them. Obviously, they've turned their business into making money. So if you go on your fan page, specifically, and most likely your consumer fan page, and look at the interactions of your posts, most likely there are close to 0. Maybe one random like, and maybe your mom made a comment. But that's it. And so we put all this energy into Facebook and LinkedIn marketing, but they have become zero reach. Versus YouTube is pretty much promotional. Like if you get it out there, it's going to get people looking at it. This is where, if you're thinking about step one is go sign up for your YouTube channel. Video doesn't have to be expensive. It's just harder. But based on what the candidates are saying, we're going to have to put some energy against it. Number 2, you don't have to be a movie director to make great YouTube content. Many franchise brokers and consultants are filling up YouTube with franchise content. It could be a review of a brand. It could be tips to buying a franchise. The challenge is much of it is not overly believable or trustworthy because of the overproduction that's being done on that. Like this is an authentic conversation or me talking to you authentically, whatever the word is. So the most trustworthy comes directly from the brand, which is you saying your story. Thus, create some rough content. The story is what counts, not the prettiness of the video or the quality. Like, obviously, I've added a little bit of prettiness to this. Yeah, I need to with a face like this. But it's not overly hard. So step 1, build your YouTube channel. Step 2, just make a commitment to start building content, whether you're going to do a solo or you want to have a conversation with someone. It's a great starting point. Number three, we started building up our video library to help franchisors solve this. Meet the Z, Meet the Zor, Meet the Supplier have all contributed voices to franchise education. And if you go to the YouTube channel, which I would love it if you click subscribe wherever you're watching this from, you'll see that we've been building up these videos on behalf of our clients. When we started 1851, we onboarded brands all with written word. We've evolved this to say we have to have some sort of video content. So, which I'm going to get into how we promote that in just a little bit. But we added the video component in here because we knew that we had to impact the funnel. And if that gave us another tool to create some sort of piece of content to help, then fantastic. Why not put that to work? So that's why we started building out our inventory of video. So that's part of us. Like I said, it's working. 5 franchisees said they used 1851 and YouTube as a part of their buying process. And the 5 is not a huge number, but 5 said I use both, which means they watch the video and they read the content, which is good because video and content are forms of storytelling. So step 1, build your YouTube channel. Step 2, make a commitment to building a few videos. Step 3, either leverage us. We've done many Meet the Zors. You can reach out to our team to get one booked, or Meet the Z, or another thing that I'm going to add in a second, webinars has worked nicely too. A new video we're creating is a review of the FDD from the Zor. By creating this, we're doing a few things. 1, giving the franchisor voice and educating its franchisees about what is franchising. And 2, supplementing the FDD review call with an additional information video, passive, so that proactive buyers can use the tool. And then remember, if we all go back to the day before we were in franchising, we would all say we didn't know what it was, yet we are expecting the franchisee to know what it is immediately upon landing on our website. So now we're creating these videos. Now, whether that's us creating that for you or you creating it yourself, it's a good video to have. So the first one we did was with Kelly from Dog Training Elite, where we said, let's talk about what the buying process looks like so that there is an educational video that will now live on YouTube that connects back into 1851, that then gets posted on the website, that is then integrated into the drip campaigns, that is sent to candidates to educate them on what the FDD is. So check mark, put that on your list of to-dos, create a video that reviews the FDD from your voice. And then number 5 is talk with your franchisees, tell their stories. Whether us or you need to give voice back to your franchisees. Franchisees are the best tool for selling franchises. So just changing up your process, whether you have a fancy studio in-house or you can leverage doing something like this. Just start creating videos of the stories of your franchisees. It's so beautiful that they were willing to invest their life savings into your brand. Like, it's such an awesome thing. And so why not have a conversation with them about their journey? Did anything trip them up in the buying process that they had to overcome? Why did they buy into your brand? What was it appealing about it? And so you start going through some of these questions that now all you did is commit to doing just the basics, nothing fancy, but building out some content to support your video. So tactics: create a branded franchise YouTube channel, create one video of you explaining your brand, create a video of you interviewing a member of your support team or a franchisee. 4, create a video of you explaining your FDD. 5, create a plan to start interviewing your franchisees. The bottom line here is just start impacting search of the candidates, start impacting the search results, because Google and YouTube are pretty well integrated. And then when you get adventurous, you may want to buy some Google ads for your YouTube channel to just continue to build up the reach of those that are searching for business categories. So one more challenge, though, in a weird world of franchising where we all chase leads, is it might take time to get your videos to mature and create leads. But I am now 100% confident that this needs to be a part of the franchise marketing mix. And obviously it's something that we're putting into play. So that's the foundational side of the next secret to FranDev: per franchisees that are telling us is that they are using YouTube as a part of their search. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly on it, and this does tie back to YouTube video creation, is the value of a webinar, which the way this one has been set up, Coffee and Analytics is set up as a webinar where we've integrated, obviously, with MailChimp so that we can send invites to get signed up. We have 124 guests added to our calendar invites so that we can promote it on there. Beyond the webinar, we take this video and we add our content to it, which is really my letter, so that we can post that on 1851, which gets additional reach. And then we'll post it on social with an ad buy behind it so that we can get more audience involved in it. So I'll give you an example of slow to awesome. Pollo Campero with Blas. I did a webinar with him a few hours ago. We did one about a year and a half ago, him and a franchisee. We invited his database, which we thought was his database, and we had 5 people register for the webinar. Now, the beauty was it was still 5 people who were interested in buying the franchise, small audience at that time, and small invite list at the time. But we created a video, and the video was created, and we were able to split it up, and we had a franchisee validating, and it gave a little bit more insight into what was winning for Pollo Campero. So the asset was created, and we had a small little audience. Today, when we did it, we went backwards on all cold leads with the mindset of, okay, the brand's getting momentum, they're awarding franchises, everything is kind of in order now. So let's go ahead and hit the cold lead database again and see what happens. And it's a bigger list now, but 91 people into the webinar, which is awesome because, I mean, even if we got 1% of that, that's a deal. Now, the comments during that one, you could see just glorious comments coming up on just interest. So what about this state? So I'm interested. Can I reach out to you? And it was great. So the process there, and this is the real secret to it, was booking a date, accessing the cold lead database, sending out an invite to those folks. We hit that list 3 times to invite them into the webinar, built up an audience, and it doesn't mean that's a perfect audience, but it gives us an audience of people that are going to watch in real time. We can now promote to any of those that did not show up. And now we'll build it into content, and it'll get posted, and it'll get distributed, and it pulled out a real conversation between 2 human beings. And now it can be integrated into drip campaigns and be a part of the sales process. And so talking about 30 minutes of work, 30 minutes of video. Now they call it, 30 minutes to get creative set up, 30 minutes for email list distribution, 30 minutes to create a recap. So you're talking several hours, 2 or 3 hours to have something that just touched 90 plus candidates, and knowing that YouTube works so that people search for a Pollo Campero franchise, it's going to appear. So the reason I'm sharing that is obviously that's been relatively new feature that we've done as a company, is selling the webinars as a tool that we can help develop on behalf of our clients. But it worked. It started off small and got to what I would call a sizable audience. And it was quite good. We've done FranX, if you watch this, for all of COVID up until a few months ago. It was filmed every Thursday at 12:30 Eastern. Me, Charles, and Brent. Charles from Inter Nicola Law Firm, Brent from Raintree, now Fastlane. We've been doing these videos. Charles and I started it. We added Brent in. And we put it up on our social channels. This is another further validation of zero reach. And so we put it on these channels, and a few people would watch. Some people would watch live on LinkedIn. Some people would add comments, but we never really got great momentum. And And we've had various conversations of what is the value of this. We have a franchise growth mastermind Facebook page, and what are we trying to get out of this? And I said, well, wait a second. We have these lists. We have an audience. All three of us have lists and contacts that we're able to leverage. Shouldn't we leverage it and promote it the same way that we're promoting this? And so we've done this. In the last few, we've had 100 people register for each of them, and hopefully get some value out of us giving, in essence, what would be the equivalent of a panel at a franchise conference. And so I'm saying this because for last 4 years, plenty of positive comments, plenty of fans of watching FranX, but we never put it through a marketing channel. And so we would film these things and not have, return is the wrong word, but maybe return impact. And again, people do say that they watch it, and brands that have signed up with us have said that they watched it. But it was more like, how can we put it through a marketing? How can we attach marketing into video creation with the insight that people are using video for search, and make some of these silos start working together? And so now it's working. And in fact, I talked with a brand last week that watched it and said, I want more insights on whatever services we're pushing out there. So it's starting to work. So for you, all of you have a few different places where your candidates live. You have people that are thinking about buying your brand. So they're out there in the universe. They're searching. They might be looking at a competitor. Objective one is, how do you move them into looking at your business and moving forward far enough for them to have some sort of ability to fill out your form and become a lead. So you have this giant audience that's out there in the world that is not giving you their name. Call them the ghost prospects. To them, if you're going to do this video or you're going to go down this webinar route, you have a few places that you can get in front of them. You could go look at your Google Analytics right now and see how much traffic is coming to your development website. So they're coming there. You have that list. If you're a consumer brand, you have a tremendous consumer list, and it baffles me how many brands don't access their customer list when majority of franchisees are fans of a brand, especially in food, before they fall into franchising. So promote to this audience, these people that have not inquired. Then you have all the folks that have inquired, both warm and cold, that you've now had some sort of conversation or interaction with, whether it was an email that didn't get responded or a text that didn't get responded, or you talked with them and they fell off, or you talked with them and they've moved through. You have all these people in various stages that has your audience, and then you have your own network, which could be your social, could be your brand social, could be your leadership social. So you have these three buckets. You have ghosts, you have leads, and you have network. And so if you put your video in the middle here and create these little prongs that connect to each of these channels and say, okay, we're going to do a webinar on the secrets to buying our franchise. We are going to put a link up on our website just in case someone lands on our site. We're going to promote to all customers, anybody that we have some sort of relationship with. We're also going to invite all these candidates that have inquired, whether there's one or a million. We're going to invite them into this webinar to learn a little bit more of what's going on with the business. You can look at some insights on there on clicks, opens, and participation as some sort of insight into or attribution into the engagement of those candidates. And then you have the network to say, hey, executive team, let's all share this on our LinkedIn and our Facebook, just to see if anybody has ever considered owning our franchise. Maybe they join us on this webinar. And so you've built up these audiences, you put this video in the middle, and now you promote it to these audiences. And the beauty of this is now you build audience into a discussion like this, which I'm sitting on. And you have a chance to say something that is hopefully valuable back to those people, similar to what I'm doing here. And they get to see your personality, and they get to see you truly care about what you're talking about, and you really want to be a subject matter expert on insert thing. And so now you have this audience. So I have all you guys that are watching this live. And then beyond that, now we take this and put it to our customers and say, hey, here's what we did, or to our current franchisees, say, we'd love for you to share this on your Facebook pages, network, or you put it up as a piece of content on your website or on 1851 if you use it. And then all the other extensions that come out of it, you could put advertising against it. You could take this and turn into a short clip that turns into a reel or a short on YouTube. And now all of a sudden, what you did is you took a singular moment, you broadcast it out, you built marketing underneath it, and you took the insight that YouTube is a channel that you need to be using and leveraging, and you created an asset. And obviously that's something that we can help our clients with. But I'm giving you this formula because it really is not overly complex. It's about committing that you're going to do it, and then it's about doing it, and it's about trial and error. I was on a cruise, lucky me, with my youngest last month in April. We're in the middle of the ocean, and a guy is in the hot tub with his daughter. This already sounds weird, but it's not meant to be weird. And I talk with the guy because I like talking to people. And eventually I say, what do you do for a living? He goes, I'm a YouTuber. I said, really? I go, well, I'm going to pump my chest a little bit. I was like, I got 800 subscribers on my YouTube channel. What about you? Obviously joking. And he goes, you got like 80 million. I was like, oh, you are legit. And so saw his channel. It's his daughter's channel. And went to their first video, and their first video was awful, but it had 2 billion, B with a billion views on it. And I was like, huh. And so the interesting insight off here, they've obviously built up tremendous momentum. And I actually played poker with him in the poker room multiple times on that trip. I kept on pinging him about it. I was like, but your first video was so bad. He's like, yeah, but it was just us figuring it out. And now obviously we've turned it into high production. He's like, yeah, it's crazy to see how far we've come. And just that statement, if you hold that into your brain, and that's good for franchising, it's good for your career, it's good for your life, it's good for your family, it's good for your day to day. It's pretty cool to see how far we've come. And if you hold on to that, then maybe you won't be afraid of whatever that next step is, whether it's creating a YouTube video, whether it's about, picking up the phone and calling an old friend, whether it's about, making your day better from this moment on. You just won't be afraid because it's cool to see how far you've come. And so I'm going to use that as a closing line to say, that's the important thing. Like, just get out there and try it. My good friend Scott Oak said, pre-recorded webinar with comment monitoring or live interactive webinar. The way that we did Pollo today was live interactive, and then later it obviously comes back as almost a pre-recorded asset. But I like both. I like doing them in both. I think they're super valuable when you can do those two pieces of content. So yeah, that's what I got this month. I was super excited to see just that the candidates were very active on YouTube. Obviously, grateful that I saw 1851 in there. That means it's working. But get out there and try it, and you too can get better. If I go back and watch the first one of these coffee and analytics, and I remember I felt very weird because I never really liked doing these solo. And then I tried it, and then I enjoyed it. And I enjoy giving assets or value or whatever I give you guys, a break from your day, or you're able to act like you're busy. Even if you're taking a nap during this, I'm just glad that I'm able to hopefully give you something of value every month that you show up to these. I am grateful for you. I am grateful for you giving me some of your attention. Go find more videos on YouTube. You might find some good insights, especially if you go watch 1851 and go ahead and click subscribe. Come on, I want to get to that multi-million followers so that I want to retire as an influencer. Kind of kidding. A little bit. That is another episode of Coffee and Analytics. I am Nick Powles. I don't know why I did that, but signing off.